What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Marauders Guild, and it is here. The finale of Season 2 has come and gone, and I really can't say gone because it's still fresh in my mind. I'm pretty sure it's fresh in the mind of everybody who has watched it. It was a huge episode full of rocking moments, big surprises, and a setup for what quite possibly could be the passing of the torch, an entirely new story in The Mandalorian. We're going to cover all of that in this video. As a matter of fact, considering the sheer weight of what happened in this episode, we're going to skip doing our usual recap. We're going to dive right in to the biggest moments in this episode. We're going to start off first talking about the child and Din Djarin the Mandalorian and the ending to their story, it seems. Now, as you know, over the course of this season, we've gotten hints to the child, Grugo, getting essentially his Jedi training, getting found by some Jedi, and we've had rumors about who the Jedi was going to be. As we saw, he meditated on the Seeing Stone at Tython and called out to some Jedi. There were rumors it was going to be Ezra Bridger, it was going to be Cal Kestis from the Fallen Order games. There's been so many rumors. Some people even thought it was going to be Mace Windu for some reason, but now the biggest idea of who it was, Luke Skywalker, we saw that come to fruition. They were in the bridge, trapped by Dark Troopers, Gen 3 Dark Troopers, so fully droid, fully mechanized Dark Troopers. And Luke Skywalker came in and mowed them all down. I mean, as soon as you saw the green lightsaber activated, you were like, that's Luke Skywalker. That was just so phenomenal to see. And there was a lot of rumors about who Luke Skywalker was going to be played by. We know a lot of people were asking Sebastian Stan to fill in for that role. I was not personally. And there were some people who had the good idea. You remember Luke Skywalker was CG'd in The Rise of Skywalker, and they did the same thing in The Mandalorian. And let me tell you, it looked a bit weird at times. I'm guessing that's because it's a show budget of CGI face versus a movie budget, because the things they did in the movies was a lot better. And I'm guessing it's because they had a lot more money put towards it, because even though this is Disney Plus, this is a production that is fit for a movie. In all honesty, not everything is going to be in those same cost ranges. So it wasn't bad though, don't get me wrong, it did look great, and I do agree with a CGI Luke Skywalker over having an actor play him, because I think as time progresses, you have a certain look for these Star Wars characters. That's why you don't really get, per se, so many of these young characters being being actually played. The exception was Han and Lando in that case, but Leia and Luke were both CGI'd in their younger versions so far. So I fully expect that trend to keep going. I think those are two characters that we'll probably never see an actual actor fill in and portray those roles respectively, unless it is a young Luke Skywalker, which they have to do for the Kenobi series more than likely, because Luke is going to be 10 years old in that series. But further on, let's get back on track. Let's talk about what happened with Luke and him taking the child. So he hits up on the cruiser. This is after just this huge taking of the cruiser took place, involving other parties, which we'll discuss later. I want to get this big piece out of the way. So Luke goes on the cruiser. He takes the child to his academy to teach him in the ways of the Force. And we get this really touching moment between the child and Din Djarin. And I say Din Djarin because he took off his helmet for this moment. He wasn't just the Mandalorian at this moment. He was Din Djarin again, saying goodbye to this creature, the child, who had came into his life out of nowhere and gave him so much perspective. I mean, he was cold and heartless, you can say, honestly, before this, at least towards anybody that wasn't Mandalorian. And this kid opened his eyes. It gave him hope about not just himself, but the entire galaxy in a sense. Look how much open he has become since meeting the child. He's willingly took his helmet off. That's because he also met other Mandalorians as well, some of whom don't agree with each other, so on and so forth. But he has met other Mandalorians. He's had a new leash on life because of the child. So for him to say goodbye in this moment was a tearjerker for him, for me as well. I can say that with all honesty too. But let's keep moving here. We have that story wrapped up. The child is going off with Luke Skywalker. He's getting his Jedi training now. But let's talk about one of the biggest plot lines in this episode. Boba Fett. Boba Fett, we see him in the beginning of the episode. It was really cool, one, to see him interact with Bo-Katan and her Mandalorian, specifically the Mandalorian that Sasha Banks plays in this episode. I was kind of weirded out to see the other one not there. I don't know where he went. He might have been on some kind of other assignment, but I'm assuming if you got a path Moff Gideon, you want to call him up too. But that was just a really random thought I had. But he interacts with them, and it's very interesting because Bo-Katan, as you know, we've seen Star Wars: The Clone Wars interact with the clone troopers a lot, and she has seen Boba's breed before. Boba refers to Jango as his father. Bo-Katan makes a note of saying, "Not your father, your donor, because I have heard your voice 1,000 times." But of course, Boba claps back with just the killer line of, "Then I'll be the last voice you hear." Like, the banter between those two was just on another level. But let's fast forward. Boba doesn't necessarily help with the battle phase of this plan. He has other plans. So we get one of the first ever post-credit scenes in a Star Wars product when Boba goes back to Tatooine, back to Jabba's palace, which I guess you can call Bib Fortuna's palace, because for some reason, Bib Fortuna took power. Boba kills Bib Fortuna, everybody that followed him, and then sits on the throne himself with Fennec Shan. And what do we get? A teaser saying that the Book of Boba Fett is coming December 2021. I think this means that The Mandalorian is now done pretty much with the story of Din Djarin. I believe the focus of the show is now going to be from the eyes of Boba Fett. Keep in mind that they have now established Boba Fett as being a Mandalorian. And it could very well mean that The Mandalorian now is going to be from Boba's perspective. Him getting back into the galaxy and taking his claim as one of the most dangerous individuals, not just bounty hunters, but dangerous individuals in the galaxy. And I cannot wait to see how it comes to fruition. The reason I say this is because, as you remember, at the Disney shareholding meeting, they said that Mandalorian Season 3 is coming December 2021. This teaser said that the Book of Boba is coming December 2021. Highly doubt they're going to have two shows running simultaneously. So this season, next Season 3, we're going to be looking at it from the eyes of Boba Fett. But there are little smaller things that I also want to make note of. Of course, Moff Gideon has been captured by the New Republic, so he's going to give them some very important information. There's something he did that was not covered. He apparently killed Bo-Katan, shot her multiple times. She lay dead on the floor. Nobody appeared to tend to her. I don't know what's going on with that. I'm really wondering, where's that going to lead? Is Bo-Katan alive? Is she dead? What was that situation? Because, like I said, she was just shot. She's the leader of the Mandalorians, and just like everyone let her die, apparently. Because I think we can all agree that was just kind of one of the things that you're like, wait, can we talk about that? Can we talk about what just happened to Bo-Katan? I'm wondering where that's going to go in the future. What can they do with that? Also, think about him. Din Djarin is the wielder of the Darksaber. Now, something Bo-Katan wanted. And there was something I really had an issue with. And I want to talk about this here. So, Din Djarin wanted to give the Darksaber to Bo-Katan because he believed it's her rightful weapon. Moff Gideon said, no, she can't take it. You have to be one in combat. To that, that's ridiculous, if you ask me. Because if you watch Star Wars Rebels, Sabine gets the Darksaber. Now, of course, she didn't win in the combat, so I guess you can call that a special case. But she gets the Darksaber and gives it to Bo-Katan, and she accepts it willingly. This didn't become a thing of like, oh, I have to win it in combat. She actually took it from her. So I'm wondering, maybe it's because Bo-Katan, well, maybe it's because rather Sabine didn't win it in combat and she gave it to her, but Mandalorian did win it in combat and he gave it to her, or wanted to give it to her, and maybe that's why she couldn't accept it. I don't know, but I'm just sitting here like, wait, you have taken it before when someone wanted to give it to you. But like I said, maybe the deciding factor is how that person acquired it. Because again, Sabine, she didn't win it in combat. Ezra stole it from Maul and then gave it to her. As opposed to what, like I said, what Din Djarin did, he actually did beat Moff Gideon to acquire the Darksaber. But it's going to be interesting to see where that story continues. Because here's the thing, we have a lot of stories with Din Djarin still to be told, I think. We have the Mandalorian deal, him possibly stepping in to help lead Mandalore, or at least help them rebuild what they can if Bo-Katan is alive or dead. That is a huge story arc. But this Boba Fett thing looks like it's going to take the center stage. They literally call it the Book of Boba Fett. This could be the next chapter. I mean, keep in mind, we read this like chapters. Keep that in mind. We have chapter 1, 2, 3, 4. whatever. We all went up to chapter 16 for Din Djarin's story. Look at it like this. This book had 16 chapters. Now we're on to the next book, the Book of Boba Fett. That's why I'm saying we could very well be seeing it from his perspective, that he is going to be the centerpiece character of season 3 and possibly season 4 as well. It could be 2 seasons per book if you want to look at it like that. And then whatever continues on next with season 5 and season 6, if we do get that far, I fully expect those to kind of shift the narrative again and look at a new character that will more than likely be a Mandalorian, because I think that's the key. The show is called The Mandalorian, and then each book is following a different Mandalorian in a sense. That's what it looks like the arc of the show is building to. But it's an interesting thing to take a look at. I want to know from your opinions as well, what did you think about the season finale of The Mandalorian? What were some shocker moments, and what are some things you want to see get expanded upon in the future? I would love to know all of that in the comment section below. And until the next time, may the force of others be with you.